You're 6 when they toss you in the net. Not because you begged for it, because no one else would. The gear's massive. The helmet wobbles. The pads make you feel like a transformer made of pillows. You take a muffin off the shin and spin like a yard sale. Coach yells, "Nice save." Dad's acting like you just won gold. You've got no clue what you're doing, but you know one thing. You love it. Not the cheers, not the chaos. The silence. That eerie calm right before a shot, where everything goes quiet and the whole game rests on you. You're 6 and already hooked on pressure. While other kids dream of toe drags and top cheese, you're out here flopping around like a fish with a purpose. You study NHL goalies like they're Jedi Masters. Build a net out of couch cushions. Beg your friends to shoot tennis balls at your head. Normal? Not even close. But that's the point. You watch games differently. You don't care who scores. You want to know who got embarrassed. You rewind goals just to figure out what went wrong. You're 9 years old, drawing angles on your math homework. By 10, you're skipping birthday parties for goalie camp. Carrying your own bag, taping your own stick, fixing your own mindset. Other kids quit when it stops being fun. You lean in harder. They start calling you the wall. By 12, you believe them. Because even back then, you understood. Goalies don't just play the game, they decide it. You get serious earlier than most. Not because you're better, because you have to be. For every good game someone remembers, there's a soft goal they'll never forget. So you start training like your future depends on it, because it does. You wake up before school to skate drills alone. You stay late to work on your angles. You skip family vacations for weekend tournaments in towns with names you can't spell. You build your body like a machine, legs like anchors, eyes like scanners, nerves like ice. You stop thinking like a kid, start thinking like a surgeon. Every moment matters. Every rep is a pressure rehearsal, because it only takes one bad goal for them to start asking questions. You don't get the luxury of mistakes. Forwards turn it over, reset. Defenses miss a back check, reset. You let one in, everyone sees it. Everyone remembers it. Your team scores a hat trick, you're part of it. You let in 2 soft ones, you're the reason they lost. By high school, you're the starter. Not because you're flashy, but because you're steady. Because you steal games. Because when the defense collapses, you don't. Your name's in the local paper. You get nods from scouts. Your teammates lift you up after games, but it's never enough. Because as you rise, the pressure follows. A shutout is expected. A 1-goal game is tolerated. 2 goals, you're slipping. 3, what's wrong with you? You track your save percentage daily. You memorize the top-ranked goalies in your region. You don't just play games, you play for your reputation. Because one weekend can change everything. And while others chase highlight reels, you chase habits. You work with private goalie coaches, vision trainers, sports psychologists. You watch game films in your bedroom instead of movies. You spend entire car rides breaking down mistakes from a Tuesday night scrimmage. You learn what it means to eat pucks. You learn how to make a loss your fault, even when it isn't. College coaches start to notice. You get invited to camps, showcases, exposure tournaments with scouts in the bleachers and clipboards in their laps. They don't care how many you stop. They care when you stop them. They care if you stay calm on a 2-on-0. They care if you recover from a bad rebound without folding. Suddenly, every save has consequences. You're no longer fighting for a win, you're fighting for your future. And when the offer finally comes, that D1 commitment, that scholarship, that dream, you don't even celebrate. You nod, you breathe, and you think, now it really starts. It starts with a simple butterfly drop, routine stuff. But your hip barks like an old dog. Pop, grind, burn. You shake it off, because that's what goalies do. Tell the trainer, it's just tight. Tell the goalie coach, you're all good. Because if you say otherwise, you're riding pine by Friday. Now you're cheating your angles, sliding early, overcommitting like a rookie. Pucks that used to die in your chest are squeaking through like bad beer league goals. Coach doesn't yell, he just gives you the look. Then comes the chat. Need more consistency. Play through it. You good to go tomorrow? You lie. Of course you lie. The boys start chirping. Not to your face, but loud enough to hear. Why is he still starting? We'd be 4-1 if we had a real tendy. Every goal you give up, the silence after is deafening. Not disappointment, judgment. Then the media jumps in. You go from stone cold to washed in one road trip. They speculate about your injury like they've seen your MRI. One bad goal gets clipped, slowed down, posted, and roasted. Is this guy cooked? Where's the old Jake? Goalie coach pulls you aside, says your reads are late. Your confidence is leaking into the room. You nod like it's news, but you already feel it. They're not fixing you, they're phasing you out. Then the backup gets hot. No pressure, no expectations. Makes a flashy glove save and suddenly he's the spark. Coaches praise him, teammates repost him, fans chant his name. And you're in a tracksuit clapping for your own replacement. You sit in the stall taping sticks you don't use. You're still on the team, but no one looks at you like the goalie anymore. You start wondering if you'll ever feel like one again, or if that version of you got left behind with the cartilage and the cortisone. Because no one tells you this. Being a goalie isn't about heart, it's about hips, reflexes, and a stat line that forgets how hard you tried. And once those slip, so does everything else. You stop checking your phone, stop reading the articles, mute the locker room noise. You go full ghost mode. Rehab isn't a phase, it's your full-time job. You study every move like it's game tape in a foreign language. How to push again, how to drop without wincing, how to stand up without sounding like bubble wrap. You train your muscles to trust you again, one shaky rep at a time. You learn to breathe through the burn, move without fear. You start from zero. Not by choice, by necessity. No fans, no cameras, no one banging sticks, just you. And the question that haunts every drill, can I still do this? You grind in empty barns, chase pucks in cold rinks while kids line up for public skate. You break your own game down like a busted engine. Rebuild your stance from the ankles up. No flash, no flops. Just tight angles and cleaner reads. You watch old film, not to reminisce, but to remember what right looked like. You don't want to be a highlight anymore. You want to be dependable. Then one day in practice, a puck rockets off a stick and you see it. Not react, read. You square, slide, smother. Dead puck, no rebound. The boys bang their sticks. Someone yells, "He's back!" You want to believe it, almost do. You get the nod the next week. Mid-season game, no fanfare, just another shot. 34 shots, you stop 32. One off a screen, one off a lucky bounce. No muffins. 3-2 win. Coach doesn't say much, just gives you that look, like maybe you belong again. Next start, more of the same. Clean movements, low rebounds. You're not stealing games yet, but you're giving your team a shot every night. And that's real goaltending. The backup gets quiet, so does the noise. You're not the future anymore, but now you're trusted. They start calling you calm, veteran presence. Code for, we know you're not flashy, but we breathe easier when you're in the net. You're not on TikTok, you're on the whiteboard. Your name goes up in the starter slot without a second thought. You feel it again, that hum in your chest before puck drop. The weight, the moment, the privilege. You don't smile, you just nod, strap on the mask, skate to your crease, and whisper to yourself, let's go. The schedule, relentless. Back-to-backs, red eyes, 6 a.m. flights and warm-ups when most people are eating dinner. You live out of a duffel bag and crash in hotel rooms that smell like old gear and sadness. You try to nap on the bus, but the seats have foam, your back's on fire, and someone's blasting TikTok in the row behind you. Breakfast? Gas station eggs. Lunch? A melted protein bar. Dinner? Whatever's not bolted to the vending machine. Your body's built like a tank, but you're fueling it with F-tier fuel. Some nights the room's loud, guys barking about playoff spots, ice time, contracts. Other nights, it's dead quiet. Stick taps, half nods, headphones in. Nobody talks about the grind, they just survive it. And always, there's another goalie. You used to be that kid. Fresh legs, wide eyes, hips that don't click. Now you're the job he wants. He posts a shutout in garbage time, and suddenly he's the next big thing. You're a good vet, good in the room, which is hockey speak for almost done. You clap when he makes a big save, you fist bump him in warm-ups, but inside, you're screaming. Because you've been him, and you know exactly how this story ends. You stop texting people back, not because you're mad, just exhausted. You miss birthdays, family stuff, all of it. You FaceTime your parents from a bus station, tell your girl you'll call after the game, but you don't. You're too busy icing your groin and staring at the ceiling wondering how many years your body has left. She doesn't get it. How could she? She didn't sign up for the cold tubs and silence. You did. You're married to the game now, even though it stopped loving you back years ago. You keep showing up, you stretch, you tape, you breathe. You don't talk about the nerve damage in your fingers, or how your blocker hand goes numb mid-second, or the slap shot that made you pee blood for 2 days. Because if you speak up, the kid takes your stall. So you fake the smile, crack a joke in the room, and when the mask goes on, you finally exhale. Because for the next 60 minutes, no one can ask how you're really doing. You're not old, but in this sport, especially in the crease, you might as well be a fossil. Your body used to bounce back overnight. Now it needs a full rotation and a team of chiropractors. Every save costs something. A pulled groin, a hip flare, a back spasm that moves in and pays rent. You roll out of bed and your knees sound like bubble wrap. Hadville's basically a food group. And you can't remember the last time you played without something wrapped, iced, or duct taped together. You've adapted, smarter positioning, less movement. You don't chase pucks anymore, you invite them in. Coaches call it veteran savvy. You call it what it is, compensation. You used to rob guys on the doorstep. Now you just hope the crossbar bails you out. Off the ice, the reminders pile up. Rookies call you sir. Trainers ask if you're sure you're cleared. And teammates, they start using phrases like, "You've had a hell of a run. Nothing left to prove." Which is hockey code for, "We're almost done with you." You play the part, you mentor the kids, pat the starter's helmet, say things like, "Happy to be here," and just focused on helping the team. But you feel it slipping. Not all at once, just bit by bit. You're still capable, still sharp, but you're not the guy anymore. You're just what's left. You check the stat sheet, your name keeps sliding lower. The numbers are still fine, just not loud anymore. And solid doesn't save your job these days. The front office starts tossing out words like future, direction, development. Translation, you're not in the plan. You think about retirement, but you don't say it, because once you do, it's real. So you lie to yourself. One more season, one more playoff run, one more chance to feel like you again. But your body's shocked. Your brain's cooked, and the worst part, you're starting to wonder if the game even notices you're still here. No press conference, no farewell tour, no jersey in the rafters, just silence. Your contract ends. Your agent says he's working the phones. He's not. You keep training just in case. But the invites never come. No PTOs, no camp deals, not even a courtesy call. You leave your gear by the door out of habit. You stretch in the mornings like it still matters. You check your phone like it might change, but you know it's over. You don't tell anyone, not your parents, not your buddies, not even yourself. You say you're taking time to figure things out, but you're really just learning how to live without the crease. You sell the pads, keep the mask. You can't let go of that. You still flinch when you hear a puck hit glass. Still scan for shooters when someone yells, "Heads up!" Still feel your heart jump during the anthem. You're not a goalie anymore, but your body hasn't gotten the memo. Eventually, you take a coaching gig. Kids with fresh knees and zero trauma. You teach them angles, focus, patience, but you don't teach them the doubt, or the silence, or what it feels like to be the reason a locker room goes cold. You let them dream, because once upon a time, you did too. Sometimes you catch a game, sit in the stands watching some kid take the net you used to own. You clap, you nod, you say you're proud, but part of you still aches for the stillness before a shootout, for the sting of a clean save off the blocker, for the moment where the game is on the line and you want it. That part never really leaves. You don't miss the roar, you miss the pause. That perfect, sacred second between the whistle and the shot, when the whole rink goes quiet and everything waits for you to decide how it ends. Being a goalie doesn't just take your time, it takes your body, your confidence, your sense of safety, your peace. It demands perfection and rewards survival. It gives you just enough to chase more, but never enough to feel full. You miss holidays, you miss people, you miss who you were before the position consumed you. And when it's over, nobody really understands what you gave, because all they saw were the saves, not the hours in the cold rink, not the pills at night, not the MRI machines, not the hotel beds, not the panic attacks before training camp, not the moments you stood in the crease, hands trembling, trying to act unshakable, because that's what goalies do. You gave the game everything, and when it was done with you, it moved on without even looking back. But here's the thing, if you had to do it all again, you would, because there's something about the silence before a breakaway, the feeling of making a save that no one else could. The sting of frozen rubber slamming your chest protector and dropping dead in the crease. The sound of a crowd going quiet when you rob someone blind. That's what you remember. That's what keeps you up at night and what lets you sleep. So yeah, that's why it sucks to be a hockey goalie. Because it breaks you in ways you can't explain. Because it asks for everything and offers nothing guaranteed. Because it dares you to believe. And if you're strong enough, foolish enough, obsessed enough to make it through, it'll ask for more. And you gave it. You always gave it. And if the game called tomorrow and said, "We need one more save," you'd lace up, strap in, skate to the crease, and say, "Let's go."